Hello and welcome to Haven and Hearth. There is a criminally small number of videos on YouTube for this game. It is easy to understand why, but, I'm still going to give it a shot. We will get into that as we go. I am creating a new character just for these videos. And let me zoom all the way out here. This is where you very first start. Is as this little purple blob floating in this lake, waiting to become something. Waiting to become what is known as a hearthling. So we're going to go ahead and move. You just kind of point and click to move. Not the greatest of systems. And we got this. Look at this. There is a light, and you find yourself surrounded by a vast and dark forest with a path ahead of you stretching far off into some distant greenery. Blah, blah, blah. You can read that if you want. I'll leave it up there for a second. You can always pause. All right. So, bam. All right. So we have kind of stepped out of the lake. We are a little soul orb thing. And we're going to come up to this crossroads here, and here we go. All right. A marriage of light and darkness. Certain primordial mystic, blah, blah, blah. Okay, path ahead demands a choice. On your left hand is the female path, this side. On the right is the male. Choose wisely. We're going to go male this time. And it won't take effect until we cross the river. So I could even, as far as here, I could just decide, ooh, that's a little choppy in OBS. I'm going to say right now, OBS is having a slightly harder time recording than I'm actually having playing. Let me just really quick here. All right, let me pause a moment and see if I can fix this. Well, I gave it a shot. It doesn't seem to really have helped much. But so we're just going to have to put up with it at least for this episode. As I was saying, we are going to go ahead and cross. We will become male. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Just like that. And it's not even... Oh, there we go. Look at that. That giant stutter. I don't know if that's going to actually come through on the recording, but at the very least, like looking at OBS as I record, it's doing some weird stuff. I'm going to try and ignore that for the moment, though, and I guess I will check it in the edit. Editor me will, know what's going on. Let's go ahead. We're going to right-click on this pool, and this is what gives us our opportunity to change things. So I could be, let's not be bald. Beetle, mohawk, rough cut, unkempt, monk. I kind of like the beetle look. What hair color do we want? Let's go. Let's go blue notes. And then beard. Do we want a beard? A neat beard? Ooh, beard. Seafoam, provost, bull beard, fork beard. Let's go with the fork beard. That's got an interesting look to it, and I don't normally use that. Alright, so we can just close that out. We have now customized our character's appearance. And time to go up here. As you can see, give the wizard your name. We have not named our character yet. And because we are recording this for YouTube and in my time-honored fashion, this is going to be Tuber. Hello, Tuber. Burn in the fire. All right. Headphone warning. There we go. You burn in the fire what seems like an eternity, unbearable pain, blah, blah, blah. Before long, there's only the wind. Experience points gained 1,000. All right. We'll go over experience points in a moment. Let me talk a little bit about the game. So, Haven and Hearth, fun little game. It is fairly slow-paced most of the time, however, which is part of why there's not a whole lot of videos on YouTube. The other part being is there is only one world and PvP is a viable option. So, wherever it is I am, which, looks like there's something down there. We'll go check that out in a minute. by making this video, I am exposing where this character is. I'll continue this series until I get killed or we completely get everything wrecked to a point where it feels like it's not worth going anymore. This is a throwaway character made specifically for the series. Just so we're clear on that. So, that said, this world has been going since August. So several months now, which means we are very likely to run into the ruins of players that have gotten their stuff wrecked, full-blown towns in full swing, and everything in between. We are new, but the world isn't. Now, obviously, when the world resets, which they do about once a year, you will end up getting, a fresh world, no ruins, anything like that, and everybody's got to build everything from the ground up. Other than the procedurally generated nature, everything is built. Like these little paved areas here, somebody did that. So let's go ahead. And now it says the first thing it wants us to do is check our quest log. So we're going to come over to our character sheet. We are going to come over to our quest log. Beginnings of Wisdom, check your quest log. I'm here. There we go. Quest complete. Now it's given us some other quests to do, and some of this stuff are things that we're going to end up doing. I'm going to click off of it for the moment, though, because there are definitely things we need to do, and some of this stuff will kind of get done along the way. Now, one of the things we need to bring up are attributes. So we have our base attributes here. They all start out at 10. You have this thing called food event points, hunger level, food satiations. So, base attributes are raised by eating food. Every food will give you what is called food event points for one or more of the various attributes. This will be affected by your hunger level, which currently we are at 0% satiety, and the effectiveness, food efficiency, is at 300%. So we're getting 3 times the amount of food event points from any food we eat. And since we have no food satiations, none of that is getting reduced. If I eat, say, a bunch of apples, not only will my hunger level, effectively go down, decreasing it there, but I will get satiated on apples, making them less effective even on top of that. So the idea is to have a varied diet to increase your attributes. Another important piece of information for this is that the number of food event points you need, you'll see it is currently 10, is based off of your highest attribute. So when I raise one of these to 11, suddenly I'm going to need 11 points before I get another attribute up. It doesn't have to be the same one. If I then, say, raise another one to 11, it'll stay at 11. So if you plan to do everything, you want to keep these as close together as possible. Very difficult for Psyche, kinda difficult for Will. The rest of the attributes have a decent number of things. Will is actually fairly easy to get once you get a little more advanced, but to start it is kinda difficult. So that is attributes. Next we have abilities. So these are basically all kinds of abilities: unarmed combat, melee combat, marksmanship. We're going to need to raise these. These all start at 1, and these take learning points to earn. As you can see, we have none at the moment. We have no learning points. We will gain learning points through primarily 2 methods. Discovering new items will give us a one-time bump in learning points, and studying curiosities, study report, this area here, will give us learning points at the cost of experience points. Experience points we get from just kind of doing things and experiencing things. And a bunch of the stuff that we can do is on a cooldown. So things like I could walk on grass and get a XP bump. that will then be on several days of cooldown before I can get that for walking on grass again. Things like that. Next, we have lore and skills. Available skills currently are foraging and the will to power. We're going to want both of those. These are skills that you start out with: primitive tools, wilderness survival, oral tradition. As we go, it will unlock more skills. These will determine the things you can do. Abilities and attributes determine how well you do them. There is all of the combat stuff here. I am not going to be good at this. I'm not good at combat in this game. But it is there. There is the health and wounds. We are perfectly healthy at the moment. Some wounds we receive will... I need to talk about the whole health thing to do this. All right, so health is based on your constitution stat. You know, your attribute, constitution. The higher that goes, the higher your health bar goes. Fairly simple. There is this red bar that is currently full. If all I'm doing is taking some damage, a yellow bar will appear underneath it. But if I take actual wounds, that yellow bar will disappear as well, and there will just be black underneath it like this, where it's bad. So this is what is called soft hit points, and hard hit points are the yellow. Wounds damage hard hit points. Anything else just affects soft hit points. So long as you have hard hit points left, you're alive. So you can get knocked out by losing all of your soft hit points so long as you have some hard ones left. Fairly simple there. And then, of course, back to our quest log that we looked at. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So, first things first, we're going to want to grab a branch. Look at that. I just see that little 100 there. All right, so I have this branch in my inventory. Now, stuff from trees is slightly different than everything else. Stuff from trees is always going to be the quality of the tree. The default quality on trees is 10 if you don't grow them yourself. So we got this branch that is quality 10. Almost every other resource in the game is going to have its default value and then be reduced by whatever ability you have. It will never go up from your ability when you find it. It can, however, be dragged down. So if I got something that is based off of survival, it would go down to 1. And it cost me 200 points to raise that, because it is always 100 points per the level you are going to, the level you are buying. There you go. See that? All right. So now I can theoretically do this, and we'll just we pick up the stick. Here, let me show that again. Pick up the stick from the inventory by left-clicking, right-click on the ground, and then left-click, and it goes there. This is what is called a stockpile. I can then just pick the item back up again out of it. I can put a big old pile of them there without having to use up my inventory space. All right, so what else do we need? You want me to lift an object. Well, there are these rotten logs over here. I am going to come over to my adventure button. I'm going to grab my lift button and drag it over to my 0. I'm going to grab my inspect and drag it over to 6. I'm going to drag my dig over to 7. Haven and Hearth. I'm going to grab the travel to Hearthfire, put it there. I don't remember what I normally put on 8, but I think I don't have it yet. So we're going to click that lift button, click on the log. I have lifted the log. I put it back down. There we go. Run for a bit. Let's go ahead and do that. Now this is our stamina bar, and this is our energy bar. Stamina bar refills from the energy bar, and once the energy bar is high enough, it will also refill health, at least the soft health. There we go. Now you see we got that little 500 from completing that quest. And there we go. It actually gave it to us in learning points. Now, most quests give us experience points instead of learning points. Those will pop up as yellow. But these initial ones here give us learning points to kind of get us going. So here we go. It wants us to pick up the foraging skill. Foraging. It costs us 25 learning points. There we've bought it, and you can see a whole bunch more skills have opened up. So now, it wants us to do things like chip this stone. And as you can see, we've got this little thing here, and that's not for the action, that is for the totality of the action. So there we go. We have gotten a little bit of this stone, which is porphyry. We got a branch. Now, I could craft a stone axe. It takes one branch, one stone, which this counts as you can see, they both lit up green. Those are the items it'll use if I push that craft button. However, as you can see, intelligence and survival are the limiting factors on its quality. Even though both of these are quality 10, if I click that button, the resulting axe is going to be less because my survival is so low. Now, my intelligence is 10, so that's fine, but my survival will drag it down. So before I do that, I'm not going to be able to get my survival all the way up to 10. But I can bring it up to 3. There we go. And now it won't be as bad as it would have been. So let's click that craft button. There we go. It is a quality 8x, which is actually quality 7.7 if you mouse over it. So I'm going to shift and left click, and what that has done is that has put that in my little inventory, or my little equipment section there. So now I have an axe equipped, I can use it. Now, the tool you use to do things sometimes affects the quality of the thing you're doing. Yeah, quality. Quality ends up being important on a lot of these things. So it wants me to explore further away from the hearth fire. So I guess I'll just kind of go this way. Actually, let's go this direction, because there was that something down there. So let's go ahead. We're going to head kind of in a southerly direction, which if you look at this map here, you can see what direction you're actually facing, because you can rotate around, so you're not always going to be going the way you think you are. So it's important to pay attention to your arrow on the mini-map. So we're just going to kind of go this way. Eventually that thing will tick over and be like, okay, you've explored far enough away. And then we will click our hearth fire button. Might see it's clicked over. I'm going to come this way, because I can see on our mini-map over here is the thing. So, oh, here we go. All right, so those are fresh enough they haven't decayed. Well, okay, so that land is owned by someone. We'll get to that in a moment, but for now I'm going to click Display Personal Claims. There we go. We can now see, oh, that edge there. I'm going to wait on this. Oh, nope, he's going in there. Now, see, that fox just killed that hedgehog? If it weren't on somebody's claim, I would be able to go pick that up. So what I'm going to do, though, I'm going to come over here, I'm going to lift this log. And now I'm going to press the button that'll send me back to my hearth fire, instead of having to carry it. Bam, here I am. And there we go, you saw the little 250. Set that down. And as you can see, our learning points went up. Like I said, this initial chain of quests is giving learning points. Now, let's see what else we can manage. We don't really have anything else we can craft at the moment. There are a few little things, like we could put down little, it's called a fireplace for some reason. It's really a fire pit. We could make a wicker basket, which will help us store items. Adventure. What is the... Oh, that's it. The light fire button. That's the one I normally put on 8. All right, so that lets us do the rub 2 sticks together to make a fire. So I want to have that on hand. All right. So now there's obviously some other stuff here. We're going to eventually get to that. For the moment, let's go ahead and start unlocking a couple of things. Lumberjacking is important. We're going to want that. Landscaping kind of important. Stoneworking. The will to power. We need the will to power. Because that will unlock. Oh, it unlocks it with something else. I can't remember what it is offhand. I'm probably hunting. No, maybe not. Alright. It's not hearth magic, I know that. Carpentry, farming? Well, I can't do that now. There is a skill called yeomanry, which we will want in order to make the claimed area like we had just seen. And that is basically your first line of defense against some random person coming up and stealing your logs. Is put them on a claim. Now for the moment, we're going to wander around just a little bit. And there are some other things I kind of need to do. I do not have the learning points for it at the moment, though. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here. We're going to go pick cone. There we go. Look at that. I just found a new item. It gave me some more XP. I'll be able to do things like raise my exploration. Why raise your exploration, you ask? Alright, well, perception times exploration determines what you can find. We're going to push that button. So now, oh, hang on, I need to move away from that boar that is randomly coming this way. So now, instead of my effectively exploration check being 10, I have just doubled it to 20. That is still pathetically low. However, I should be able to find more things now. So let's wander a little bit. Not towards another boar. Those boars will end me. Ooh, now look at this. All right, so that is an interesting little thing. We're going to come up to this cliff edge here. We're going to jump down, which is still just done by clicking. I'm going to rotate here real quick. This is a little dugout. See, I could use this as shelter if I wanted to. I'm not going to at the moment, but I could. Actually, it might not be a bad idea, although that one is a little small. Let's take a quick look here. Curiosities. Here we go. All right, so let's do a curiosity before we wrap up. We're going to grab some branches. I need 4 branches and a pine cone. There, I have 5 and 2 pine cones. Let's see if I can't get a couple more branches. There we go. That should... Oh, I think I'm 1 short. All right, there we go. All right. Now, the cone cow. It is a curiosity. It is determined by survival, however. So let's see real quick if I can raise my survival. I cannot. Not yet. Which means these are going to be lower quality. Let me craft one of them. I have discovered it. As you can see, even though all the ingredients were 10, it is level 7, which is actually a 6.5. This means it's giving me less learning points. It's giving me 40 instead of the promised 50. That 50... Ooh, let me go into this little dugout here real quick. That 50 happens at level 10. Level 10 is considered the default value. But since my skills are so bad at the beginning here, I'm not getting nearly that much. So now, see there's the study report. I could either pick this up and put it in there, or I could do the same shift left click, and it goes in there. Now, as you can see, there's this attention. This went up to 1, because if I mouse over this, mental weight 1. Why is this 10? That is 10, because my int is 10. So as my int goes up, I'll be able to study more and more weighty curiosities. As you can see, the experience cost is 5. So when this is done, and as you can see, it's right there. When this is done, my experience points will go down by 5, but my learning points will go up by 40. Now the experience cost, I don't believe, changes. So you always want to make the highest quality you can. It is why quality is very important in this game and the thing you're going to struggle with the most. Because in order to get higher quality things, you need higher quality things and higher quality skills. Fortunately, the higher quality skills can be gained over time, but depending on what the thing is, there can be a lot of effort that goes into getting a higher quality thing to make the higher quality thing from. Very complicated. The easiest way is if there is some way to use farming to get the materials you need for the item. Because that way, because farming is the easiest way to increase quality. You plant a seed, it has depending on the time you plant it, it has a chance to be as little as losing 5 quality to as high as gaining 5 quality, and that is basically where you sit. It's plus or minus 5. Usually this tends to trend upward, and if you are doing stuff in enough bulk and staggering it correctly, you go up. Now this includes trees if you're doing it right, although they don't go in that direction. They use the materials of the things you're using to make it. Some of the tools in that instance are your more important factors. And then, of course, there are, just in general, let's pop back out here real quick, there are localized nodes. Basically, it is areas that are producing better than average. Some things, that's the only way you're going to find them. Most things, that's the easiest way to find them, and the rest is done by iteration. Unfortunate, but true. There is an actual factual cave up here. So that is slightly different from those dugouts. Those dugouts are those little things. They're considered the same layer here. This cave, however, is going to go one layer down. Let's go take a look. There is a bat right there. If I move, I risk getting its attention, and with as weak as I am, it'll come kill me. We're going to back right back on out. Bats are one of the easier things to fight, but I'm not in any shape to do that yet. So let's just spend another minute or two looking around, seeing if I can't find anything. I think what I'm going to do, can I get a bough instead of a branch? Ah, that over there should have a bough. Let's grab some boughs. Alright, we've got 4 boughs. And that should have unlocked some additional stuff. Build, furniture, thatched bed. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over into this little dugout here. Just so we're kind of out of the line of sight. And I'm going to put down... Hang on, let's move so that we can get this kind of sorted in the way I want. Now, see, this is grid aligning at the moment. But if I say put that there and then hold down shift, I can get it to move where I want it. There we go. Let's put those 4 in. And building an object like that is different than crafting because you're allowed to do things like that. I don't think this is going to have enough additional stuff, but that one, no. Do you still have about? You still have at least 1. We would need 2. Yeah, unfortunately, it only had 1. That's okay. There's some over here. And at this exact second, we're not worrying about quality because the quality of your bed doesn't... Oh, I did not let it finish. The quality of your bed does not really affect anything. So, you kind of eventually learn that some things quality is important. Most things quality is important. but some things it's not. So we're going to do this. And since this is furniture, even though it's like that, I could theoretically pick this up. Theoretically. And if I were to right-click on this, I could go to sleep. That is your log out. And it should be fine. So, all right. I'm going to come back. Oh, actually, you know what? We've got enough. No, we don't have enough points to raise our survival, but we do have enough to raise our exploration one more. Let's do that. All right. So I have raised exploration a little bit. I'm going to leave this episode here. We have found a little nook and cranny to sort of set ourselves up in. I'm going to go ahead and craft this additional cow, because it's not like the thing is going to get us enough to raise it anymore. I'll put that in after this. We will come back next episode, sort of explore a little bit more of this, hopefully after I've gotten just a little bit more done. I'm not going to do a whole lot. I'm just mostly going to try and get more of the cone cows processed through so we can raise our stats a little bit, because that is the major hurdle at first. But hey, I'm a naked man with a stone axe and kind of curiously looking at a little, cow statue I made. That's going to do it for this episode. So, until next time, have a good one.